It's exciting to have you on, and I know I got some questions for you and the boys, but the first question I want to ask you is, and I think this speaks for everybody, is what I noticed out of the last 5 games last year from Carson Wentz was some big-time leadership. I think we all saw a locker room rally around the guy, and we saw when we watched the Amazon series about him, and we saw a little inside. And from you having obviously more insight than we do, from outsiders, it looked like the guy really, that locker room rallied around. The young players bought into him and winning with practice squad guys and guys like that, and go on the run they went on. It looks like the locker room is rallied around him. And now, obviously, we draft the quarterback in the second round. And just your thoughts on Carson and him growing year in, year out as the leader of this football team.
Well, it's pretty amazing because, and that's a great question, with Carson. And I know, first of all, I've got a great relationship. I'll start with that with Coach Doug Peterson. I've known Doug from his playing days as an Eagle player, and actually was with him when he was cut and asked to go and play elsewhere. And we as his family have grown up, and I've sort of known Doug and seen him evolve as a coach, and sort of just being around him, knowing how he feels about Carson and the tremendous trust and respect that he has for Carson Wentz, and I'll sort of preface it with that. Carson, I don't know all that well. I just know from what I perceive. Of course, I know that that big piece that came out last year, the year before, and they were talking about Carson and his jealousy and his lack of leadership. I didn't buy it. I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. It's just something that I think that maybe was just a little bit overhyped. And if anything, and he was with his relationship, of course, with Nick, and now he's running the show, and you could just see him evolve once he got his health back. It's very difficult sometimes to be a leader when you're injured, and going back just when he was the man when he was at North Dakota State. And my son, Vinny, you alluded to Vinny. We'll talk about that later. Vinny played for University of Delaware. They played at North Dakota State. I went to North Dakota State for that game when they played there, and you walked in everywhere, and everywhere was Carson Wentz. I mean, he is an absolute icon out there. So all of a sudden, he's gone from North Dakota State, where he is the man, and he's coming into Philadelphia, even though he's the quarterback. He's just another guy, and it's sort of like it's like the show me state. Prove it. Show us what you got. And man, he really came through, and he got us pretty much into the Super Bowl. And he took that hit because he was laying it out for the team against the Rams, and he gets injured. Then Nick comes in and finishes the deal. But you can't take away from the fact how many games that he won for us, and won for them, and won for his teammates. And I think he got the respect of all his teammates on how tough he is. And then Nick is gone, and now Carson doesn't have to worry about looking over his shoulder. Not that he ever had to do that, but every once in a while, if you're not 100%, those kinds of things can happen. And then the criticism. He didn't come from a big town, so you get that kind of criticism coming from the major press. It's got to pierce the armor just a little bit. And then finally he got healthy, and everything was going good. And then Clowney clocks him and cheap shots him, and he gets knocked out again. And then now, he gets the big contract, and of course they bring in the quarterback from Alabama, and there's all kinds of speculation. Who knows? Is it because the Eagles don't trust the fact that he's going to be able to get through the season? Do they think that the draft pick is going to beat him out? I don't think they think that. Is he an insurance policy? Who knows? We don't know that. The time will tell. Right now is we probably have without a doubt, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Of course, who's healthy, and with a backup that once he matures and learns the game, it's going to be fun to watch him grow. So I'll just sort of see what happens, and see how he gets to training camp, and he's got to prove himself and be able to read defenses, and it's going to be a whole different ball game than the not the run and shoot they were running, just the option, the RPO, the run pass option. So it's a whole different ball game. He's got to become acclimated to it and see defenses like he's never seen before. So it'll be fun to watch him grow. But hopefully we'll get a chance to watch him grow if we get this season off this year.